a bill at the Senate right now, U.S. Senate, that is trying to bring that to limelight, to sanction 12 northern governors and some political leaders. And secondly, the financiers of terrorism has been okay. Let me read before we go into sanctions. Let me read this. The country's financial intelligence body, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, identified 96 individuals as financiers of terrorism in the 2020-2021 period, along with about 424 associates stroke supporters. These financiers were linked in NFIU reporting to about 123 companies and 33 bureau de change that were used in the financing network. The government claims to have prosecuted and convicted over 100 individuals for terrorism financing in the last 2 years as of early 2025. Barrister, did you hear that? 100 financiers. This is crazy. I don't know where they got this narrative. The country is working under the framework. The country is working under the framework of its national anti-money laundering stroke counter financing of terrorism. To disrupt terrorism financing networks, reports shows external links. For example, the FATF, Financial Action Task Force, West African region report references a charity from the Middle East operating in Nigeria whose account activity raised terrorism financing concerns. Key mechanism, modalities of financing. Now, this is how they finance it. From the academic and official sources, we see number of common methods used in financing terrorism. Use of companies. They use companies, bureau de changes, as fronts of conduits for transferring funds. They use structural cash deposits and withdrawals, cross-border flows, and accounts whose activity doesn't match the declared purpose. For example, the FATF, West African report, provides a scenario in which a charity's account had frequent cash deposits, withdrawals, and transfers into areas of high terrorist activities. Funds flowing into areas of accounts tied to known extremist groups or into unstable or rural zones where insurgent stroke bandit activity is high. Where insurgent and bandit activity is high. Then another way of sponsoring it is extortion, kidnapping for ransom, illicit trade, and smuggling can feed into the finances of terrorists or insurgency. So these are several ways. There are several. It's quite long, very detailed report. And then the next one is, what did I? The sanctioning of the 12 governors of the 12 northern governors. Hold on, let me take that. "12 northern governors, including judges and monarchs." Very, very right. In fact, you see, the problem is that, like you said, you pointed earlier, U.S. intelligence, they know even far, far more than what Nigerian DSS knows. We know that they know us more than we know ourselves. Those guys are wizards, just like their CIA is just like we have the Mossad. They are the wizards. Sometimes when this is their information, I just wonder how they get it, whether it's a spiritual power they have or whatever. You just wonder how they get all this information. Now, let me read part of just one or two paragraphs. A major diplomatic row is brewing between Nigeria and the United States as the U.S. Congress considers a bill seeking to impose sanctions on 12 northern governors, traditional rulers, and senior judges accused of complicity in what American lawmakers describe as Christian genocide and religious persecution under the Nigeria's Sharia and blasphemy laws. Anyway, to save time, Barrister, what is your take on this? The U.S. is out. Look now in the U.S. Let me just give you an information as someone who is on the ground. You see this Christian genocide that is going on in Nigeria. You see all this whole report, all this whole hula baloo of U.S. invading. I am telling you, it is hotter in U.S. right now. What is going on in this? It is the attention of Nigeria in the U.S. has never been this. This is the way it is gaining attention right now in the U.S. It's very unprecedented. Why? Because we have the conservative movements that are the ones backing Trump. The conservative movement, the personification of conservative movement is evangelical movements. The evangelicals are the ones spearheading things, all these things. And these are the people that have been fighting against Christian genocide all over the world. So they are the ones pushing the narrative big time, pushing the reports and everything. So the thing is gaining most major conservative news outlets for the past 2 weeks now have been very consistent. Every night you will hear about this. So it's a raw thing going on. It has really attracted that is the highest and the mightiest in the conservative movement. They are interested in this. The highest level of the evangelicals, they are interested in this. These are people who have been fighting against Christian persecution globally. Now we have our man, President Trump, who is someone who hates the killing of not just Christians, but the killing of any human being. And there's no president in the history of the US who have been on the side of the Christians, or specifically the evangelical Christians, more than Donald Trump. Now, this is it. This matter is in the Senate. Ted Cruz, who is one of the strongest conservative member, he's the one actually pushing this whole thing. And we have very strong conservative senators too that are pushing it alongside. I bet you this thing is going to come out big time. I have absolute confidence that this bill will pass in the Senate. And what do we see? What are we expecting? Sanction against 12 governors, northern governors. They are all complicit in this. They are all involved in this directly or indirectly. We have traditional rulers, especially this Sultan of Sokoto. That man, he's a suspect. I consider him a suspect, or whatever. So traditional rulers and judges. Oh my God, this one is sweet to hear. Judges, senior judges. I can't wait for this sanction to start, because this sanction is important to them. It's important because we know what sanction is. Sanction means, well, of course, Barrister, you know what sanction means. First of all, to travel freely will be a problem, especially to the US. That is not even a problem. That, of course, if it is just not to deprive them from traveling to the US, they don't care. They can travel to other countries. But that doesn't end there. It puts serious check on their finances, the network of their finances, especially some of them who have money, who have bank accounts abroad. So that will curtail their movement. That will curtail their businesses, where those that have businesses abroad or whatever. So it will impede in their financial interest globally. And it will impede in their freedom of movement globally. Barrister.
Yes, two things. You talk about the financing of the terrorists, the intelligence unit of the EFCC. Over time, there has been no doubt that the names of financiers of terrorism in Nigeria has been known, both from the security intelligence, the DSS, and the EFCC. The sponsors, financially or otherwise, are well known. The CPC designation now is going to pressure the government to take action against this category of, it's not just killing the terrorists that is the issue. This category of people financing and sponsoring have to be taken out as well.
Yeah.
So what Donald Trump has done is going to pressure the government. They cannot hide under any pretext anymore. They have to take action against people in the government, in the security agencies, in the politics that are part of the financiers and sponsors of this.
You think Nigerian government have the courage to do that? Is it possible for them, for you to take action against yourself?
What I'm saying that this CPC designation, the US will not be satisfied if Nigerian government does not take. It's not just the killing of the terrorists, but this action against the sponsors must also be seen to be taken.
Now, before you move on, now that's a good point. Let me ask you a follow-up question on that. And I ask you, you think that, yes, they will be under pressure to act and begin probably to start prosecuting or take out all these people that are doing it? And you think Nigerian government will go that far? Do you think that the pressure that the US will put on them will actually move them, will actually be that strong enough to begin to go? What you are saying now is that they will begin to go against themselves because they are involved.
That is what I'm saying, that the US will not be satisfied. In the present atmosphere, Nigerian government wants to negotiate, have a sort of negotiation and an arrangement with the US to handle this issue. And I'm saying that US will not be satisfied if there is no decisive action taken against this category of people.
How do you think Nigerian government can take action against these financiers?
Whether they like it or not, they have to take action. Otherwise, the US will not be satisfied. And remember, I heard something from, I think, one congressman in the US. He's saying that what we are seeing now is just the beginning. And that if the Nigerian government does not take decisive action, it may even affect the government of Tinubu. The action the US may take may affect the government of Tinubu in the sense of removing him from power. So they know that, yes, we have come to the principle, we have come to a point where something strong and decisive action must not only be taken, it must be seen by both Nigerians and the international community that it is being done. That is the only way that you can avert a disaster that will happen to the government.
Okay. Do you think that Tinubu will go to that? You think he'll feel that much threatened to the extent of actually going against every people around him? Because these people, all the sponsors are around him. They are both near and wide and far around him. So you think he will be that threatened enough to go after these people clearly? You think so? Does he have the courage to do that?
He does not have a choice, because it's either him or them. And when it is Tinubu holding to power versus the other ones, he will hold on to
so you think
power.
You see
with assurance, with the assurance of security from the US. There is going to be a negotiation between the Nigerian government and the US. And that all these things are going to be built into that negotiation going forward. Because the US will demand action against these people. I know they have names of these people. They will demand action against these people. And if he refuses to take action against them, remember that I don't know whether Nigeria will survive the sanctions and actions of the US that we follow if we do not seem to satisfy Trump that we are doing something. We are not going to. From the military aspect, look, if the US stops supplying us with spare parts for our military equipment, where do we get them? We are using majority of our military equipment from US. If they don't give us the spare parts, they are grounded. If they take us on our financial level, we'll be grounded. So there's a lot the US can do. apart from helping to take out the government itself. So this thing is a sensitive issue. Tinubu's government is going to navigate a very fine way to
Now, let me ask
satisfy.
you, Barrister. Let me ask you, Barrister. Between taking between taking down the financiers of sponsor of terrorism and Tinubu, which one do you think is which one is your choice, or do you think is our priority? Is it taking out the terrorist sponsors, or taking out Tinubu's government?
No, let us deal with the terrorists first. Both the terrorists and their sponsors. Let's deal with them first. Then we can come back to deal with Tinubu in a different way.
Yeah,
that's the first priority.
Yeah, correct.
Take out the terrorists and their sponsors first.
I 100% agree with you, because the crimes that these terrorists, the sponsors of terrorism, have committed against humanity and against us as Nigerians, it is inexplicable, it is inexcusable, it is unfathomable, it is unquantifiable, and it is priceless. So they are our priority. If only, look, as much as I hate Tinubu, as much as I don't hate Tinubu personally, I just hate his governance. I hate his foundation. I hate his corruption. I hate his criminal mentality. That is just what I hate about him. If he chooses to change as a human being, of course, I will like him. That me, I evolve with people's attitude. That is just, if you are bad, I hate you. If you are good, I like you. Even if you are the devil and you repent, I will come back to like you. I'll come around. Now, my point is, as much as I hate Tinubu, honestly, if he can achieve this, if US can pressure him to do this, and he successfully does this by really all the sponsors, no exceptions, all the sponsors, bring them to book, rebook, not be the one where they go put them, not the one they will put them in prosecution, in prosecutorial process that will be endless. I will be there for years, and probably the courts will not move forward because we have corrupt judges. We are not talking about people bringing people to prosecute them through law court. Okay, so people will say, how else? Honestly, what I expect is for these people to be taken out, either secretly, honestly, one after the other. Take them out, because the problem is that if you want to go through court process, they will still have the same problem. These same people will still have they will walk around the court process. They will bribe their way through. They will whatever, because even these people, they have, even in the judiciary, they have judges in their pockets. So what do we do? So the best thing to do with this set of human beings, this set of monsters, is to take them out.
So the number one national priority used to be corruption before. Now it is security.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So that is the first priority the nation must attend to. Take out the terrorists, bring back security. Then we can think of any other thing. Now, the second issue of sanctions for 12 governors, traditional rulers, and others, we have discussed on your show in the past. And I said, I used to be one of the greatest optimists of the Nigerian politics, of the Nigerian project. But I have come around to accepting that before Nigeria goes forward, if we are to go forward as one Nigeria, then how we go forward has to be renegotiated. It has to be negotiated in a way that we satisfy all the component parts of Nigeria. It may not satisfy us entirely, but a good chunk of the powers that we have in Nigeria must be devolved to the components. If you want to do Sharia exclusively in your area, do it. And that will be because most of the financial and other things are localized. So I will be in my place doing my own. The incentive to go out will be limited. If we don't do this, because as we even speak now, people are saying that no governor will, if any governor attempt to remove the Sharia, he will be dead, he will be removed. It is now in such a state that no governor of the 12 states will dare to remove the Sharia. He will be dead. He will be dealt with. He will be removed by the people in this state. So it has come to a point where we have to negotiate how Nigeria will go forward. That has been my take recently. I no longer believe that we can continue in this way. As long as we say Nigeria is one and everybody has right to live everywhere, then we have to remove some of those things that impede or make me to be afraid to live in a certain place.
Yeah.
We have to remove those things. If we refuse to remove it, then we have to renegotiate. Let me have part of my area, have as much power as I can in my area. Then you have as much as you can. Let the center be weak. Because we cannot continue under the present arrangement that we have today, where some people must say religious laws must prevail and must rule, when I do not belong to that religion.
Yeah.
But we say we are one country. Yes, you can have those religious rules, but we must then take away a lot of the powers that you have all over Nigeria. Let us devolve those powers to components. That will lead to even the creation of more regions. I don't support those who are saying, let's put Nigeria, let's devolve powers on the 6 geopolitical regions. We have to create more regions to satisfy the aspirations of some components within the regions themselves. The 6 regions that we have today are not ideal in my own thinking. They are not very ideal. We have to readjust them.
Adjust them
devolve
how?
powers.
Adjust them how? To what structure?
Particularly in the north. Particularly in the north.
So what is on your mind when it comes to the adjustment? What is the picture? Can you give us a picture of the adjustment?
Particularly in the north central. You see, in the north central, part of it are on religious basis, because most of the issues that are creating this problem is religion. So if we have to solve the problem in creating regions, we try as much as possible to have religious contiguity, so as to avoid the problems that we have today in Nigeria. If we repeat the mistake that we have, then those regions too will not have peace. The regions that have contiguity in religion, landmass, and ethnicity have no issue. If you talk of the southeast, the 5 southeast states, there's not much dispute. But even there, you see between south-south and southeast, there's a problem, because there are some Igbos in the south-south states.
Yeah.
So if you want to create regions based on ethnicity and religious distinct, we have to adjust some of these regions to avoid problems that we are seeing today.